If you look at investment in BYD, which Li Lu was the first person who made the investment. And in fact, when he first invested in BYD, it was almost like a venture capital investment. It was very, very small. It was a very small company. But he already was able to see that the trajectory, and Chang Fu Wang was a very unusual, very bright, and very hardworking person. When he later brought the company to Charlie's attention, Charlie went back and studied the very early history of Chang Fu Wang when there was no company and he was trying to start something and he had no money. He had many siblings, I think like 7 or 8 siblings. This is a large family. One of his brothers, and Chang Fu Wang was one of the youngest people in the family, but the brother saw unusual traits in his brother, and he helped give Chang Fu Wang the money to get started. And then, of course, Chang Fu Wang, once he got a little bit of money, he could get going. He was a genius at chemistry, and he works very long hours. He could build that business. But really, it was from Charlie's perspective, a Confucian ideal, kind of a Confucian principle to help the one who is most capable. And so he studied, in the case of BYD, he studied the very, very early history of the company very carefully. And then he also studied the trajectory. So, for example, in the case of BYD, they were trying to manufacture these batteries, which required clean rooms in Japan. These batteries are made in Japan, and they were very large clean rooms, which are very expensive. And one of the first innovations that BYD made was that instead of making the room clean, they made a small box clean, and the women would put their hand in gloves through the box and work on those things. So basically, he was able to drop the cost a lot of manufacturing by rethinking how it was done. And repeatedly, they kind of excelled really in terms of the innovation and the tenacity. The other thing is that Chang Fu Wang lives with his workers. So, they have the large residential blocks of apartments. He lives in one of those blocks with the workers. And so that type of a culture means that your people will do anything for you, because and so I think he very carefully studied individual pieces about Chang Fu Wang. He was aware of people like Thomas Edison. He was aware of people like Henry Ford. He was aware of people like Bill Gates, and he could make a connection with the way Chang Fu Wang was, with the way some of these people were. And in the end, that led to the investment, and it did really well. So I think that's kind of he did not just accept that the BYD investment should be made because Li Lu thinks it's great. That's not the reason why he made the investment. He did his own analysis.